Okay, so I don't think you have to be beekeeping for long before you decide that you want to make your own beehive. Now I want to make one. I'm going to make this video in 4 parts, and this one is going to be about making a Varroa mesh floor. So I've bought some rather nice quality stainless steel Varroa mesh. So I'm going to make some floors for it. Hive space split up into some basic components. We've got a hive stand which I've built already. We've got a floor, we've got a brood box, we've got a super, and we've got a roof. So I'm going to split this into some different videos. This is going to be for a national hive floor, and they're quite easy to make by the looks of it. What I've got is some Scandinavian redwood, what I use all the time, and this is some 9x1 boards that have got some splits down the middle, so no good for what I normally use them for. I'm going to rip these, I'm going to plane these down to 22mm thick or thereabouts, and then I'm going to rip them down to make up the different sizes, and we're going to put a slot in them for the mesh to slot into, and have some little stays in there so that we can put a board in where we want to do inspections and things like that. Dead simple to make. So let's plane this down to 22mm and go from there. Right, so there we go, we've got some nice planed up boards, but you can see why I haven't used them for anything else, and not in their 9x1 form. So I'm going to rip these down now to about 65mm, and that's the size of our frame's going to be around the outside, so we need 2 at 460, 65mm. I've planed up here more than I need. I'm going to try and make probably 3 floors out of this. So yeah, I ripped them down at 65mm, and then we can put a slot in it, which is going to be a little bit naughty because we're going to take the riving knife out of the table saw. So from the wood I've planed, I'm trying to get 6 lengths out of this for 3 bases. And one day I'm going to get my dust extraction sorted. I've got to move pipes about the place. Okay, in the name of health and safety, I recommend you don't do this. But I'm going to take the riving knife off my saw so that I can cut a slot. Not very deep. In my piece of wood. If I had a narrow router bit, I could do it that way as well. Potentially better, potentially safer. The Americans are probably wondering why I'm making such a fuss, because none of them have riving knives anyway. I do like a riving knife on my saw though. Obviously make sure the machine's turned off at the wall. We've all watched Final Destination. We'd know what would happen. Where's my boards? So, I have to decide how far in we want this to go. Say about halfway. Just under halfway. Right, so it there. It wants to be about 22mm, I reckon. I think that's what the other one was. Until the start of the cut. Easy enough to do on here. This fence is fairly accurate. We use push sticks, we keep our hands away from the blades. You don't copy this, you don't blame me. Do it your own way. cross cut them to length. Oh, the pencil. Right, to complete the frame, what we need now is we need a piece of wood that goes from the bottom of this groove down to there. And that makes the front, because then we have a detachable entrance. And on the back, we need a piece of wood that goes from the bottom of the groove to there. And that's what kind of holds it together. So it's not much to a base, but we'll cut that piece first, see if we've got enough wood. I think I might have to rip something else down, but it doesn't matter. That's 40 mil. 40 mil. So I need one at 40 mil, one at 22 mil. Those other pieces need to make up 460 less the width of this. So all I do is I hold, I'll show you, play cheats way rather than doing any maths, hold that over there, get it to 460 there, and I can see what I need is 417. 417, easy. And when you buy these bases, they normally just come with some nails. We're going to use some screws. We'll use some 4x50s. And what we will do, we will pilot and countersink at the same time using one of these bits. You know what? We'll add a bit of glue as well. Belt and braces doesn't hurt, does it? Then on the other side, so imagine that's the bottom, that's going to go across the top for this one. Put one of the thinner ones. Of course, check for square, squarish. That's what we like, isn't it? Yep. There we go. So, do this to the other frames now. Nearly there. Okay, you need to cut it along that line now to get this mesh in. Not sure what this will cut like. Might be where I regret not buying galvanised. Nicely cut. Right, so I'm just going to put a couple of staples in this. So on the entrance side, try and keep it flat. That's a bit. I mean, they can be prized out, not very deep ones. Then on the back, so let's flip it upside down. We'll put a few on there as well. There we go. All we need to do now is make an entrance block. I'll finish these other two off. Okay, so we've got ourselves some entrance blocks cut. Now I need to cut a notch in them for the bees to get in and out. And I cut this about 120 mil by about 9 mil on there, which I think will be about right. Okay, so we've got a few little bits left to finish now. Really easy bits. So on here, what we're going to want, I'm not going to cut the ply now, we'll wait until I actually need to put it on. I'm going to put these little strips, you can see that, on there, and that means that we can put a ply board in when we want to do a mite check, maybe a plastic board, depends what I can find. So I'm not going to cut ply up for these at the moment, I'm just going to leave them as they are. And I'm just going to pin them with some staples. And they're just 15mm by about 6mm. Now what I could use as an alternative to these, and what you do quite often get, is a frame runner like that, and they're about 80p. That's probably nothing, is it? So I know it's not a huge saving, but it's a few pence, isn't it? And I don't think there's much advantage of using one of those to using this. Honestly, down to the last job. So we want a few panel pins. Because what you get is when you put your entry block in, you've got it all stacked up. You can push your entry block in if you want to change the size of it or whatever, change what it is. You push it in and it can just go back, and that's quite annoying. So what I always do, or what I have done so far, I know I'm new into this, but I was told to do it, is put a panel pin about there, stop it pushing back anymore, and the same on the other side, so it only push back up to there, and I think that's quite a good thing to do. It doesn't take many seconds now, it's a bit of a pain when you've got bees flying around everywhere, so we will do it. So put that there, mark a spot, it doesn't have to go in very far, there we go, perfect. And we'll do the same on the other side. There we go. Now we'll push the entry block in. It goes against those nails. Doesn't go back any further, and it's easy enough to hook out the way when you want to. Okay, so there we go. We have got a completed floor for a National Hive entrance block that's removable. We've got our mesh screen, and we've got the way to put in a ply or plastic inspection board. We've got a Varroa mesh floor, and that's about, I don't know, 7 or 8 quid a sheet, I suppose. Maybe cheaper if you buy in bulk. But yeah, the only thing I need to do with this now is I'll need to paint it. And what I'm going to do, because this is not cedar, it is Scandinavian redwood, but I'm going to paint this with proper, pure linseed oil paint, which is quite expensive, but it's way better than a lot of the modern paints, and it doesn't take much to kind of redo it, and it will make wood last a lot longer. So a little bit of investment in the paint and the painting process should pay off a lot more. Going to paint these hives some different colours as well. So if you've enjoyed this video about making a floor for a National Hive, perhaps you'll enjoy the video on making the brood box. Thanks for watching, see you next time.